Honorable Justice Shri A.K.J. Nambiar, Honorable Member of Parliament Shri Shashi Tharoor, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Rajkumar, distinguished faculty of O.P. Jindal University, Professor Venu Rajamani, Shri Sudhir Mishra, and Professor Upasana Mahanta, and all other distinguished participants of today's seminar and students who are present here. It is indeed a matter of happiness that O.P. Jindal University has taken up to organize a sustainability conclave here in Kerala. As you are all aware, this is a very noble and important objective in today's world. United Nations kept this objective for 2030 to have sustainable development goals, and our country is making a lot of efforts to implement or achieve these objectives. Now in Kerala, last 3 years, as you are aware, we have been topping the list of states who have achieved these goals, and in the first assessment we got 69 points in 2018-19, and 19-20 we got 70 points, and 2021 we were able to get 75 points among the various states, and stood first in the country in this assessment. And of course these goals are very comprehensive, covering various aspects of human development, at the same time also covering aspects relating to sustainability. Now, while the states are attempting to achieve these goals, it is important that organizations also should strive and contribute their might and thinking process to this objective, because it's such a all-inclusive and complex objective which has been set for the country. And in this context, O.P. Jindal University has released the Sustainable Development Report, and I'm happy to note that a host of actions have been undertaken in the university to achieve the various goals envisaged with these objectives. Now, I remember that in Kerala, one of the organizations in Kerala, that is our Cochin International Airport, became 100% carbon-free airport, in the sense they are running on solar energy. Now, energy is one key aspect of sustainable development, as you are all aware. But at the same time, even other institutions like universities and all other institutions, if they try to achieve this kind of neutrality, either in energy or in some segment, that will be a very welcome proposition. I find in the report the university has taken several steps of generating solar electricity, at the same time conserving the usage of natural resources, and several other things have been taken up. Now it is written that in today's world, no individual, no nation, no society can progress on its own. It is all collective development, as is given in the Rigveda. Born on the same planet, covered by the same skies, breathing the same air and gazing at the same stars, we must learn to happily progress together or miserably perish together. For man can live individually but can survive only collectively. So human survival is only possible in a collective fashion. So understanding this objective is critical for understanding sustainable development. So far, in the traditional economic view of growth being limited to economic growth, and that too the growth of GDP, is slowly getting replaced by a more comprehensive idea of development, as development concerning human beings, and development involving not only human beings as part of the greater ecosystem of the planet, and of course interacting with all other aspects of the complex ecosystem. So with that kind of view of development, we need to look at certain values for life. See, development, if we look at sustainable development, perhaps we can think that this is development with a direction. Direction means a direction involving values, which are important in education also. Sometimes, when I meet school students, I ask them, distinguish between vector and scalar. Most of the students know. They say vector is having magnitude and direction, scalar is having only magnitude, they say. But another question is asked, what is more important, magnitude or direction? Many children, they start thinking, they don't know. So I tell them that, okay, you came for a seminar or something here, And if you come in different modes of transport, some could be slow, some could be fast. So you are coming in different modes of transport. But if your direction is the same, whether late or early, you will reach the destination. If your direction is wrong, however fast you may go, you will not reach the destination. So speed is not as important as direction. So direction is most important in life, and unless and until a direction is established in education, education becomes worthless. This point has been highlighted even by the earliest thinkers on education. Even Aristotle said that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So from that angle, human being a multidimensional or multifaceted existent, it is very important that we try to develop the multiple intelligences involved in human personality and try to give a comprehensive development of human personality to sustain this planet with a long-term view. And short-term views will not be sufficient. So a direction needs to be instilled in the education system, and perhaps that is what is the most important contribution which universities can make to the sustainable development goals. Because what is most important is, where is the sustainable development goals achieved? We think that it is achieved in the world, it is achieved in the state, it is achieved in the institutions. But sustainable development goals are achieved in the human mind. Because if you are able to change the mind, if you are able to design the way in which people have to think, with proper values, proper direction, sustainable development goals are already achieved in any society. So therefore, that is what the universities should attempt, to create the correct value system in the minds of people as compared to the traditional, the consume kind of growth which we are thinking of achieving. So these are aspects of the goals which we must try. See, the first sloka of Ishavasya Upanishad, it says that Ishavasimidam sarvam etkinja jagatyam jagat tena tektena bhunjida magrida kasya siddhanam. That third line says that it says renounce and enjoy. That is the tena tektena bhunjida, renounce and enjoy. So consumption is not the only process of enjoyment, is what the Upanishad says. There are other modes of enjoyment, and renouncing could also be a source of enjoyment. So this is a different kind of thinking. Perhaps these kind of thinkings are important in the education system to identify how much people should sustain. Like along with the things like, this inequality, no hunger, no poverty, or gender equality, reducing inequality, and reducing the carbon footprint. For sustainable development, one key aspect is reducing and limiting consumption to the exact point what is required for the human being today. Today we on our earth are consuming materials for 1 year. Whatever we consume, to replace that, it will take 1.5 years. That is how the world is growing. So with that kind of unsustainable process, how are we going to achieve intergenerational and intragenerational equity is a very serious matter which universities must apply their mind to. Because so at what is a sustainable rate of consumption which can sustain the society today and for tomorrow, and what we can leave for the posterity is also need to be thought not only at a global level but also at the individual level, because man can survive only collectively. So these are the thought processes which must govern in today's education, and this has intensive connection to the Gandhian ideal and the Gandhian philosophy, as you are all aware. Mahatma Gandhi was able to see this 50 years ago compared to other people who are thinking about it today. Even United Nations came up with the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. But entire Gandhian philosophy and Gandhian economics are rooted in sustainable development. So that point, of course, gives our country an edge in this, because our country is not such a huge emitter of carbon, as you are aware. Today, the carbon footprint has become a key aspect of how we can reduce it and sustain our world more and more better. So, as far as Kerala is concerned, if you look at from the angle of production of carbon, we are already carbon neutral. If you look at from the angle of consumption, we are trying to attain carbon neutrality, and we have put a goal of 2050 to achieve that carbon neutrality, whereas our country has put 2070 as the point at which we can attain carbon neutrality from the point of consumption. Now, some of our panchayats and municipalities, etc., there are at least one panchayat in Kerala which has already achieved carbon neutrality. Meenangadi Panchayat in the Wayanad district has achieved carbon neutrality. They have been doing that program for the last 3-4 years, and they have been implementing projects which has achieved carbon neutrality. So therefore, making the right thinking individuals, the youngsters, who will think not only for themselves, not only for their families, not only for the groups and the organizations in which they are living, but also for the country, but also for the world, and develop a global thinking to change societies are very important for attaining sustainability. Even Nelson Mandela mentioned that education is the most powerful weapon with which you can change the world. So using education as the footboard, we are able to leap into a future where we can achieve a sustainable society and a wonderful society and perhaps this kind of thinking process is what is required to be imparted in all the educational courses. It is not just for people who are studying sustainability course. It is required for every course, and I am sure that the OP Jindal University will take pioneering steps in this direction. Of course, other universities also will take action in this regard, and our country will make tremendous progress in the times to come and achieve these goals by 2030, by which time it is supposed to be achieved. With these words, I remain and thank you for giving me this opportunity to participate in this dialogue. Thank you.